Alright folks, and welcome to the Don's channel. I am the Donfather, and I'm now going to be talking to you a little bit about the game that's played annually in Shanghai in the AFL. What's your thoughts on this? As AFL supporters, as people from Australia, two teams get selected to play a game in Shanghai, as I said, an annual basis within the AFL. I would imagine if I was a supporter of one of the clubs whose turn it was to go play there, I'd be pretty pissed off if I was looking to go to every game. Say you go to your home games and your home game happens to be the one that's picked to play in Shanghai, so you're probably not going to be able to make that game. The crowd at the game wasn't great this year. I think it was Port Adelaide versus St Kilda off the top of my head, which Port Adelaide ran out convincing winners, but the crowd was poor at it. Nobody in China really seems to have an appetite for the game by the looks of it, but the AFL are hell-bent on trying to keep playing it there in order to grow the sport in China, rather than in a country where contact sports are kind of very popular in the first place, such as the UK or even another country within Europe or even America. I know that there is quite a lot of AFL teams within America. Ireland's quite popular. As I said, Europe. I would have liked to have seen the AFL possibly, if they are hell-bent on trying to have a game on foreign soil, have it where you've already got an appetite for the sport, such as Ireland, UK, America. If they were going to have it, why not have it in Wembley Stadium, advertise it, market it well in advance of it ever happening, pick two teams with strong support, strong membership support, such as Collingwood or Richmond. I know the fans are going to probably be pissed off with me even suggesting their clubs, because most supporters want to go and watch their team, particularly the teams with the biggest memberships. But you want to have as much sort of appetite for the game as possible. But I just see Shanghai as an absolute non-starter. China as a whole is a non-starter. If you're going to market something, you have to know your customer. China don't give a shit about the AFL. They don't give a shit about rugby. They try their hardest to pump billions into soccer and football in China, but you get one Brazilian every so often looking to go out there for a bumper deal as they try to grow the sport there. But it's backfiring and backfiring quickly. Nobody's interested in Chinese football in terms of UK based fans. Nobody cares about the league. Nobody cares about what players went there. They're spending loads and loads of money, but Europe is a stronghold. So as I was saying, if the AFL are hell-bent on spending a lot of money trying to market this, why have it in Shanghai? Have it in a city where contact sports happen. You can't go wrong with a city like London. If you're going to have it, and you're going to have it outside of Europe, have it in a city like London, like the NFL does. Every so often they'll play, or I think it's annually now, it might be even a couple of times a year, I'm not too sure, but in Wembley Stadium they sell out 90,000 tickets for an NFL game. Not really my cup of tea, American football. I absolutely love the AFL. I don't know if it'll generate the same sort of support in England as what the NFL could. However, all I'm saying is this is the sort of model they should be looking at, not China. For me, it's a complete non-starter. What the Australian supporters actually think about it, I was actually stunned that they had a game there annually, considering China don't really take to anything like this. It just seems completely bizarre to me. So all that being said, we'll touch on another topic here of the Gold Coast Suns as well. I fully back the AFL's decision to put more money into it, to get into the Gold Coast Suns, and also give them top draft picks in order to strengthen the Gold Coast Suns. Contrary to things that I might say about the Gold Coast Suns, like they lost something like 18 or 19 games in a row. It's embarrassing for the sport, it's embarrassing for the governing body. It needs to change, and it needs to change rapid. So either cut them completely, which they were never going to do. They've already invested so much time and money into trying to make the Gold Coast Suns project work that it's almost like an act of desperation now. Like, right, is this the last year they can say, do you know what, let's put all the cards on the table, let's give them so many draft picks, let's give them a lot more money to help them entice more senior players in by means of giving them better salaries, etc. But I actually do support the AFL in this one, bizarrely. A lot of clubs would be aggravated by this. You're looking after the Gold Coast Suns, making decisions here, the AFL, when they should be spreading the costs of and making the draft picks fair, blah blah blah. But I do believe the AFL should have 18 teams, maybe even 20 to tell you the truth. But to cut a team is a complete no-no to me. Maybe a relocation of the team would have possibly been a better idea, but I think they've went so far in trying to get the Gold Coast Suns to work that this is almost the last gasp attempt by the AFL. But I fully support it. Give it 3 years. I think that was a plan that I read. 3 years of so many draft picks. Best draft pick here and there, and whatever the actual finer details is, I'm not too sure. But it's certainly, from that point on, if 3 years they're still in no better place, they're still finishing 18th, then it's really time to admit failure by the AFL. But all that being said, I genuinely believe that if it does turn out to be a failed project, which I probably think it will be, whose head turns? Whose head turns for spending so much time and money on a project where there's clearly, again, look at the Shanghai thing, in Gold Coast, is there an appetite for a sports team in Gold Coast? Didn't work in rugby league. It doesn't look like it's working right now in the AFL, but they're trying their damnedest to make it work. What happens then when this money's spent and possibly wasted, draft picks going to the Gold Coast Suns, then looking to spend a year there and go to the team they originally wanted to go to? You can't hold young guys against their will. If they're being scouted and tipped to go to Collingwood, to go to the West Coast Eagles, to go to Geelong, to go to the Tigers, you're not going to hold these guys back. They're not going to want to stay up the Gold Coast, especially when there's no fans. If you've got loads and loads of fans there, passionate fans, 30,000 strong, cheering you on every week, it might be a more desirable place to go. Truth though, that isn't the case. You can't buy support, and this is the problem the AFL will face in 3 years, in my opinion. There's no support there. There's nobody buying merchandise, there's nobody buying Guernseys, there's nobody putting bums in seats, selling out the Metricon or whatever it's called up there. It's not a sustainable business model right now there, is it? I hope to God the team on the field of play can improve, because it was dire. It was absolutely dire. It was pathetic doing predictions on it. It was pathetic for the AFL as a whole. It was a laughing stock. So I'm hoping now that they've invested this extra time and money into this, that something will happen, and happen soon. But I'll give them 3 years. I believe that they need 3 years more to allow these drafts to come in, and they need to give them more money to allow more senior players to go there. I mean, like, it's not ideal. It isn't ideal, but there is no quick fix here, in my opinion. Even if you put a team down Tasmania, it's going to take a while to build that up. Look at the Fremantle Dockers. How far are they away from winning a premiership? Very far, you might argue. GWS maybe not as far away, but look, you have to give teams time. like, tell me what you think in the comments section below. It's something that's spoke about an awful lot. It's things that I get asked quite regular in my live streams. I thought I'd do a video of it in the down season just now. The Shanghai thing was the most important thing here for me to talk about, because I find it absolutely peculiar, bizarre to say the least, that there is even a footy game in China. China don't give a fuck about this sport, let's be brutally honest here. Australians don't give a fuck about games being in China. I personally, as an outsider, think it's fucking mental, and it shouldn't be happening. Who is, outside of Australia, who is the next most fanatical country about this sport? Who's playing it more? Who's more willing to spend the money to go watch it? Is it going to be Ireland? Is it going to be England? Is it going to be United States of America? Who would put bums in seats to go and watch this game if Collingwood played Richmond in a foreign country? Where would it be? Why are we even having one in the first place if there's no call for it? Should they be concentrating on having Australia? They don't even have the whole of Australia, really. You could argue Aussie rules hasn't even got an Australian stronghold, given the NRL. Should we be looking at trying to pump more money into New South Wales, Queensland, making AFL the more you know, enjoyed sport, the more passionate sport in these areas? Well, if you can't even have your own country, how do you expect people to be buying into it in China or further afield, Europe, etc.? It's just my opinions and thoughts here. I would love to hear your feedback on it. I always thought when I heard Shanghai was absolutely mental. From things I've read, people don't like it themselves. But I just really want to have a little bit of discussion with AFL fans on this. And the Gold Coast Suns thing. What about the Gold Coast Suns? Where should the club be? If relocation ends up being the only thing that can fix the 18-team ladder, where would you have it? Would you have another one in Western Australia? Would you keep trying to have one up round Queensland direction? Is there a better town in Queensland that you could have it outside of the Gold Coast? I don't know, but Tasmania is certainly the #1 choice from AFL fans on forums, on Facebook pages, etc. It seems to be the most common sense decision, given the absolute love of the sport down in Tassie. But what would they be called? The Tasmanian Devils is the first thing that jumps to my mind. Maybe people would say that's a bit gimmicky, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Many's a name could look quite gimmicky in the AFL, but the Tasmanian Devil seems to fit. It's like two peas in a pod to me. It just makes sense. But thanks very much anyway for watching. Let me hear your feedback on that. I would be interested to hear from it, so I could maybe do a follow-up video on your opinions. But it's certainly something that I think is getting a lot of people talking, and I think Shanghai, as I say, should be addressed and addressed soon. The same way they've addressed, or they're addressing financially, given the draft picks to the Gold Coast, it should be something they're doing with Shanghai. Why put these teams out there? Mental. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the Don's channel and the Don of World Sports. I'll be doing more AFL chat on there as well. I've since hit 1,000 subs on that, so that's fantastic for the channel. So don't forget to subscribe to that. That's the Don of World Sports. The description for that, or the link for that, will be in the description section below. And also other ways in which you can help fund and support the channel, such as Patreon or our GoFundMe as well, which will help fund our vlogging trip to Oz, where we're going to be doing AFL vlogs. My take on the stadiums, the games, the live experience, meeting the people, the buzz in and around the cities, in and around the grounds, in the pubs, etc. Going to be doing vlogs on all that there, so if you could help on that, that would be fantastic too. And TDC, the Don's Channel merchandise, we have some of that as well if you're interested in hoodies, sports hoodies, adjustable caps or flex fit caps, which I think are really good quality, then you can get in touch on that as well. That would be great. Thanks very much for watching. I am the Donfather. Just a little bit of chat, no need to get excited. I know people like to get excited in some of these things, like bit personal on it. You don't need to do that. Just tell me your thoughts. It's all good with me. Thanks very much. I am the Donfather. Peace and goodbye.